Okay, Chaos Crew, it is discussion time. So, I decided for today's video, I wanted to knock out the, I guess I will call it the seasonal tier list that I normally do on the channel. I wanted to go ahead and do the special tuning skills this time around, and then later I'll do the characters, which that's going to be interesting, I feel like. But right now, I want to knock out another special tuning tier list, especially since after we got all of our characters for this season. At least I believe we did. I'm pretty sure N.G is our last character. So I feel like now would be a great time for me to go ahead and knock out the tier list. So with that being said, if you guys want more videos like this, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe button, and those notification bell to stay updated with everything on my channel. Be sure to check out the description of all my videos where there are links to my other platforms and a link to my Discord server if you want to join and talk with people with similar interests just like you. Also, please be sure, I know I said subscribe, but subscribe. We are so close to hitting 1.4K, and I would love to get there before the year ends. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and take us on over to some random tuning build, and I'm gonna start showing off my tier list because I do think this one is going to be vastly different compared to Season 13's tuning tier list. So let's get on to the tuning. Okay, let's go ahead and get this tier list started. Starting off in D tier, I have Compressor's Compression Magic. I have Denki's Stun Resistance, or Electricity Resistance. I forgot what it's called. Let me look at that. Let me look at that real quick. What is that even called? Resist Shock. My bad, guys. It's Resist Shock. I have Tech Todoroki's. What is it? Resist Ice. Is that what it's called? Resist Cold. Wow, so creative. No. Let me shut up. And I have Yaoyorozu's Battlefield Analysis as well. So I have these skills here in D tier because I feel like that they have little to no value in the current meta, and in all honesty, they haven't had a whole lot of value just at all. I feel like since their tuning has been in the game. I would love to see these skills get buffed in the future because they just aren't good. Or even if you do pick them, you're like, okay, there's some value you can get out of it. Why wouldn't you use better tuning skills in these slots? You know what I mean? There are way better ones than these four that I've listed. The most useful one out of these four, I would say, would probably be Yaoyorozu's tuning skill, Battlefield Analysis, because you could probably use that to storm camp maybe, or use that foresight to go and try to revive your teammates in the area where the circle's going to be at. But besides that, these skills are just, they're bad. Boo. No. There are just so many other, better tuning skills you can use in these slots instead of these. So I hope they get a buff in the future in some way, shape, or form. But for right now, they're sticking in D tier. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what I got in store for C tier. In C tier, I have Resist Heat, funny enough, because Resist Heat, I used to have that skill in D tier, because I was like, okay, who are you really going to be concerned about using, with fire? I'm not going to lie to you guys, Armored All Might, he has like the most burn damage in the entire game. I don't think in the lifespan of either Todoroki's, either Endeavor's, or either Dabi's, did they have the same amount of burn damage that Armored All Might has. Armored All Might's burn damage is kind of crazy. So with that in mind, that was enough for me to personally bump Resist Heat up one tier. I can't lie. With that, besides Resist Heat, the other skills are the same. Booming plus Ultra Voice, Quasi Permeation, I hope I said that right. Froppy's skill is Camouflage, I think that's what it's called, and Assault Kirishima's Indestructible. I have these skills right here because I think that these skills are better than the skills in D tier, but it's kind of the same argument where you could say that they are just much better skills that you could pick in your tuning build versus these skills in C or D tier. Again, I think the C tier is definitely better. I definitely see value in having, super armor on your skills. I think there's value in, getting, going invisible when your allies go down, being, invincible at the start of a match as long as you're not attacking. That's useful. And the stun/deafening effect that Booming plus Ultra Voice gives, I would imagine that all those can have value, especially since I've seen someone use Lady N.G and Booming plus Ultra Voice. Whoever made that, I want you to understand you're evil. You are actually evil. But I think that these skills do have more value, but if you wanted to find some type of way to buff it or change it to make it, more meta, I wouldn't be opposed to that. I'm going to go ahead and now show you guys B tier. Let's go and show you guys B tier real quick. So with B tier, this is going to be definitely the shortest list, I would say. And when I was looking at this, I'll be honest with you guys, I was thinking to myself, maybe I should move some of the skills in C to B. And I could see an excuse for that maybe being going back to C2 just for a second. I could see an excuse of maybe making an argument for I would probably say indestructible. I could see it's funny looking at it. I can see an argument for all three of these skills: indestructible, camouflage, and quasi permeation. I think you can make an argument for those three skills to be moved up a tier with the way that everything shifts. Because I'll be honest with you, so many skills from season 13, I'll be honest with you, got shifted to either A or S tier based off my last list, and I'll talk about when we get there. But at least for right now, as I'm recording this, I have Foundation of Peace, one of the newer tuning skills. I have Warp Heal, and I have Plus Ultra Power Intensified in the B tier. So I'm gonna talk about the elephant in the room for this specific tier. Why do I have Foundation of Peace in B tier? Let's see if I can pull it up real quick, which I should be able to over here. All Might, right here. Yeah, Foundation of Peace. So the reason why I have this skill in B tier and not like any tier higher is because I do not think that it is bad. But one thing that really holds this skill back, in my opinion, is the cooldown that it has at the beginning of the match. I think that personally, if there was no cooldown at the start of the match and you could just start saving civilians immediately and getting level ups, I think I could probably rank this skill, I say like high A, maybe even low S. But that cooldown, in my honest opinion, really holds it back. Because then it makes it where you have to you still have to go out and loot and find items and stuff like that, find cards, but now you can't really use that skill and combine it with other skills. Like, let's use Extra Wind for an example. Let's say you want to do a build where you want to run Extra Wind and Foundation of Peace. That way, you get Plus Ultra and you get Plus Ultra level ups and team heals all together. I think Extra Wind and Foundation of Peace would be a really good combo if there wasn't such a ridiculous cooldown, a cooldown start time on Foundation of Peace. So with that in mind, I personally couldn't find it within myself to move Armored All Might's tuning skill any higher than B tier. It's not bad, but that cooldown, in my honest opinion, severely holds it back. As for the other skills, Warp Heal, I think that if you wanted to make an argument that it should heal more, that I can see that. But then again, it's also like, using portions of your smaller heals to give to your allies. I don't think that skill needs to necessarily change. I think that skill is fine. And then Plus Ultra Power Intensified, that skill is always going to be strong, but very short-lived, which is why I have it in B tier. It's a very strong skill, but it's super short-lived. So it's like, you'll rarely see that, get used in action unless someone's running like full burn to go with it. And then at that point, you have to depend on, being the last man standing to see that skill in action. So I should say that any skills I have in B tier, they don't necessarily need like any drastic changes or anything like that. But I think that an argument for a buff or a nerf or whatever, well, a buff, I would say. These skills don't need to be nerfed. If you want to make an argument for a buff, I can see that. I don't think any of these skills need to be nerfed or touched in any type of way. Except for Foundation of Peace. I really want to get rid of that cooldown. I feel like that really holds back the skill. Moving on to A tier. So this right here is where one of the biggest changes happens, in my honest opinion. In prior seasons, I had every single revenge tuning skill in B tier, saying that they were just good skills all around to have if you didn't know what else to throw in your slots up here. With the inclusion of a certain almost immortal character, Shiggy, yeah, I feel like I have to bump up all those skills. Not only because of Tech Shiggy, but also because of his special tuning skill. You could pretty much do the exact same thing Tech Shiggy is doing, not at his level, because he has better regeneration and it lasts longer. But like you could have your own version of a hyper regeneration, revenge build where you could just abuse the skill. I'm on Shiggy, so I can't even show it here. I'll go to Todoroki because he was one of the characters I actually wanted to use to show this off. You can literally just sit up here and just do something petty like this. Okay, Hyper Regeneration right here, and then Revenge Strike right here. Right here, my whole entire plan, if I was able to pull this off, would have been just to spam Hyper Regeneration, breaking guards, and it's very easy for Strike Todoroki to break guards, get Hyper Regeneration off, and fight to my heart's content, because I'm going to be always regenerating my health, regenerating GP, and constantly proccing my Revenge Strike, keeping my damage, and mind you, I have all the damage slots here, keeping my already high damage even higher thanks to Revenge Strike. And that is crazy. I personally speaking, I would have thought that they would have, if not this patch, probably next season. I thought they were going to add a cooldown nerf on the revenge skills because that is crazy. It's crazy. It's the reason why Shigaraki is one of the reasons why Shigaraki is so dominant right now, despite his strong kid. So with that in mind, I had to move every single revenge skill here up a tier because you could use this if you're playing any other character. And even you are playing Shigaraki, you could use the revenge skills just like this and abuse the fact that they have no cooldowns right now. So I put them in A tier. Going from there, I have Dabi self res. I won't say self res. What is it called? I can never get the name of these skills, not off the top of my head. Okay, speedy self revive. That's what it is. His speedy self revive. I have the speedy civilian rescue, assault Deku skill, symbol of peace, Nejore's jump, ability manifest, Tech Denki's electrification, Coda Finder, Ibarra's tuning skill, divine protection I think it's called, special attack reload boost. I have both Kendo's tunings in this slot. I have perception. I have extra wind here. Extra wind I was very questionable about. I couldn't decide if I wanted that in A or B, to be honest, just due to how passive you have to be with that skill. But I chose to go and keep it in A. Next, Space Hop. You can make an argument for Space Hop to be an S. I chose to put it in A because again, I just think that there are better skills you could equip if you want to. And then finally, I have Tech Shigaraki's Hyper Regeneration. So all these skills that you see right here, I think that they have very high value. I think that they're very good in the meta, and you can make use out of every single one of these skills, especially if you combine it with other tuning skills, either in this tier or even out of this tier, honestly speaking. Like there are skills here that I feel like they bring a lot of value. Where do I even begin? The fact you get up faster with Dabi, the fact that you can go around the map and save civilians and get plenty of team meals for your allies, and honestly, you can probably combo that with All Might's Foundation of Peace to also give you some level. You see what I mean? You see why I'm saying they should remove that cooldown on Foundation of Peace. Symbol of Peace, by the way, I'm pretty sure people already know this, but like Toga is bugged right now, and I'm mad. I don't think they fixed it. Toga with Symbol of Peace is bugged right now. I'm not saying how. I'm not telling you guys how. Just know that it is bugged. Okay. So if you're coming across a Toga with Infinite Plus Ultras, either one, they're cheating, or two, they're abusing the bug. They need to fix that ASAP. Nezure's jump is just a baby version of Space Hop. Love it. Ability Manifest. I think that skill is really, really good for giving you the increased time on using abilities like honestly, any skill. Increase strike, increase defense, increase reload speed, increase speed, or increased healing. I think all of them are great. Electrification, if you're using that on a character like Kirishima, just for an example, or even Kendo, you're just going to make it, you're going to make someone's life a living nightmare. Just this is not fun to fight against when you have such a strong character using it and they can consistently get it off. I would have thrown it on Armored All Might personally if I ever got him. Let me see. Coda Finder. Free level ups. Need I say more? Divine protection, and you could open the chest very, very fast, and that could be useful for for like end game, even when you're in like the small circle and everybody's fighting left and right. You don't want to waste a whole lot of time opening that chest. So this ability can come really in handy, especially in end game. I mean, you're trying to bring back your team or trying to catch up with everybody else to get your level ups. Special attack reload boost. We all know how crazy that skill is, especially with the inclusion of Lady Nagant. Like, goodness gracious. Honestly, if you want to make an argument for this skill being in S tier, wouldn't be mad at it. I genuinely wouldn't be mad. Both Kendo skills. I see more people using Iron Fist versus Sisterly Disposition. I still think that Sisterly Disposition has value in this meta, despite, the nerfs it got in the past. You just won't see people use it because in their minds, why not use Acceleration? Or why not use Iron Fist to get more damage? Damage, stuff like that. If you have a defensive build and you throw Sisterly on that, I promise you, you're gonna hate fighting the individual you're fighting. I guarantee you. I guarantee it. So I still have it in A tier because I still think that there's value in it. I just need to find out what character am I gonna use it on. Who would I use it on? Deku wouldn't be a bad idea. Y'all would hate me for it. I know y'all would hate me for it, but Deku wouldn't be a bad idea to throw that on for a video. Getting back to at least this tier list. So I still have perception on because I still think that perception, despite its nerf, still has its value. Just that you have to act quicker on it to go ahead and really see its value. Plus, to my knowledge, there's no cooldown on it, so you can keep constantly proccing it as long as you're landing a melee, which isn't hard depending on who you're playing as. I already explained how extra wind. I was determining if I wanted to move that to A or B, but Just leave it as is. That's fine. And I've already talked about space hop and hyper regeneration. Those skills I already talked about. I don't want to sound like a broken record. So I would like to repeat these skills right here. I don't really think that they need too many crazy changes, if any changes at all. I think they're fine. The skills I have in like B and A, I would say you can make an argument for being fine, or you can make an argument for a small change. Now, as we talk about S tier, I'm not necessarily saying these skills need a nerf, but I wouldn't be surprised if it happened in the future. So, starting off, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the vampiric build itself. GP Sucker and HP Sucker. Even though people still think that HP Sucker is not as, is not really all that good. I don't know why. Well, I know why, but it's like, it still doesn't make sense to me. They say that's not as good because it doesn't give as much GP as, let's say, how HP Sucker gives HP. It's different. Let's see, I'm pretty sure that HP Sucker gives like 130 or something like that, and then GP Sucker gives like 90 to 95 at max level. So I get it, but it's like you're also getting free, healing for downs. And I'm gonna keep it a buck with you guys. I'm surprised no one has ran this build for Tech Shiggy. And I can see it being run in the future. Why not run a vampiric build on Tech Shiggy? It would be very easy for you to get downs. This build still has a decent amount of attack slots and everything, and defensive slots. Like, why not run a vampiric build on this guy? I mean, I guess for the future, just keep that in mind for the future, because in case they do actually end up nerfing the revenge shootings, I think keep this build in mind. I will, and I want to use this, but we'll see. Anyways, getting back up to the build I was at. So I have both, HP Sucker and GP Sucker in S tier. I have Full Burn, although I don't see the skill used often. I still think that this skill has great value in the fact that it's extending your plus ultra. Why wouldn't you want to use? Why wouldn't you want to extend your plus ultra? Whenever you're using plus ultra, a lot of times you'll find yourself using it defensively, so you won't have a whole lot of time to use this offensive power that it has to to get KOs and stuff like that, to get people to back up off you. You use it to go and really run away. You know what I mean? That's why I really like skills like Full Burn and Muscle Form, which is also in the S tier as well, because it allows you to be more aggressive with your plus ultra versus being defensive with it. So Full Burn I have in there. Reinforced Revive. You're getting shield back as you get revived. Who doesn't love that? It allows you to get right back in the fight if need be. I have plus Ultra Turbo in here as well. I think you could make an argument for sending this skill down a tier, since it still remains untouched. And realistically speaking, why would you want to run this when you could probably make an argument to run Extra Wind to get more plus Ultra, or run Crushing plus Ultra Charge to get more plus Ultra? The reason why I still have it in S tier, personally speaking, is that it gives both plus Ultra and it gives you Wall Runner pretty much. So, and another great thing about it is you don't have to down somebody. You don't have to confirm a KO. So, again, I would love to see them increase the the plus ultra rate of it from 5% to 10%, but that is as high as I will go with it. I still think it has value. Wall Runner is next up. Everybody's favorite mobility skill. You literally run on walls. It's Ida's passive skill. Why not? It's great. I still have high speed replenishment high in S tier, because this skill is still also ridiculous, especially when you combine it with a certain invincible skill you get when you guard breaks, which is also here in S tier. Goodness gracious. I still have this skill here because it shortens the time you need to get your shield back, which could be very, very useful, especially with when you combine it with other skills. I still have card duplication in S tier. You get additional cards, and even though I see the weakness for it and how, you can't stop how many cards you're making and, further in the match after you're already maxed out, you could easily use those cards to help out your team, or you can use those cards to help further push a build you're running, like how I used the ability Manifest with card duplication on Deku, regular Deku. It's his build I have this set on, where I just used ability Manifest to help cover up the weakness of card duplication, because, the more cards you have in an ability, the longer the ability manifest will be active. You guys get it. I would like to hope you guys get it. I talked about it in the video. I went over it. The whole point is these two skills work together really, really well. So you could use different strategies to overcome the one weakness of card duplication, which is why I still have it in S tier myself. Jiggy, I'm going back to your build. Okay. Moving on to the next one, Crushing plus Ultra Charge, which is right here. Need I say more? You get a KO, you get 19 to 20% of your plus ultra. I guarantee you guys, as long as you get like 2-3 KOs and you survive a lengthy time in the match, I'll say to like end game roughly, you're guaranteed to get plus ultra every time. Just get 1 or 2 KOs, 3 at most, and then just survive till end game, and you'll get your plus ultra. It's practically free. I have muscle form in here because, as I mentioned with full burn, it allows you to be more aggressive with your plus ultra. When you use it, like I already said, when you use a plus ultra, you typically use it in a much more defensive fashion. If you use a muscle form, not only are you getting free shields thanks to just activating plus ultra in general, you're getting additional HP and you're getting hyper armor. You throw that on a character like Tech Shiggy or Rapid Deku, any character for that matter, realistically speaking, and you can just change the tide of the battle so much because they can't stop you, or they have very few ways to stop you. Like they pretty much have to nuke you off the map to stop you. Because you're armoring through everything, you're walking through all this stuff like Mahoraga pretty much. All right, you're armoring through everything. You got increased attack power thanks to plus ultra, and you already have bonus health and bonus shield. Like this is a very great skill, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I think it's criminal that people aren't using it as often. I think it's criminal. I think it's crazy. Next up is willpower. Willpower is everybody's favorite skill because it literally stops you from dying. Who doesn't like that? You can sit up here and be reckless to a certain degree, get hit, boom, 1 HP, and as long as you can play as a character with decent mobility, we can say Nagant, Mirio, your Dekus, your All Mights, so on and so forth. As long as you're using a character with decent mobility, or you have a team that has your back with team heals, you could abuse the mess out of willpower and just be practically immortal. And I've seen people run this on Tech Shiggy. Oh my gosh, good job! Like that's super smart. But oh my gosh, why? You're evil. You're evil. The character already can't die. Now you may he definitely can't die. Next skill up is embrittlement. Embrittlement, which I can't even look at it because I'm on Shiggy. So I'm going to go to All Might. Why not? So when it comes to embrittlement, I still think that skill is also S tier because everybody has such easier melee combos now. So with that in mind, realistically speaking, you can probably make an argument for a lot of these melee tunings being an S tier because everyone can use it now. Like genuinely, it really feels like everyone can use a melee tuning and have value out of it. So with this one, defense down, you combine that with Iron Fist, or you combine that with any other skills really, and you just put the hurt on people, and it has no cooldown. So you can just constantly proc the defense down and just do more damage over time to your opponent, and just you make them hate you. I'll say that much. You will make them hate you. Next up is Trance Blow. Trance Blow, where are you at, Shinzo? I do think that this skill has lost some value, but when you think about what it's doing, it is still such a strong skill. I'm pretty sure they nerfed it in the past, but even now, this skill is still so strong. The ability to slow down your opponents and make it where they can't really dodge. The only real weakness, I would say, of the skill, this is a good weakness, by the way, is that you can't beam somebody down with this skill. And that's good, by the way. That's really good, matter of fact. You have to use skills that have, like, singular strong hits. So, like, Assault Kirishima Gamma, or Assault All Might Beta, or, skills like that. You have to use skills like that to really get big damage in. Actually, Rapid Deck is a good example. His Gamma. You have to use skills that have such, high damage and singular hits to really get a lot of damage values out of Trance Blow. Otherwise, you get like 2-3 hits in on a lower damage skill, knock them down, and you'll miss your opportunity to really get in more damage with Trance Blow. So that's like one minor weakness, but still, you're keeping your opponent pretty much stuck in place. They can't dodge, they can't move. Well, they can move, they just move very slow, and it makes it very easy to hit them. Matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised if I see a Lady Nagant Trance Blow build, and that just, oh my gosh. Next skill, Fixer. Do I even need to talk about Fixer? I'm pretty sure you guys already know by this point on the channel, I'm a Fixer supporter. I don't know why people in their head just say, oh, this skill is useless, or this skill is bad. Why do y'all keep saying that? I haven't heard anybody say it recently, I'll say that. But it's just mind-boggling to me that people say that in the first place. The one skill that forced tuning to change how it worked as a whole is a bad skill. Repeat that to yourself. The skill that changed how tuning works is a bad skill. No. This skill's S tier. It's going to remain in S tier for a very long time. Next up is critical permeation, which I guess I didn't have to leave the slide. This skill, even though they increased the cooldown for the skill, I still think the skill is still very, very annoying to fight against. It's still annoying to deal with, and you can still find ways to abuse it with high speed replenishment or any other GP refilling skills. Still very annoying. Still very just. I can't stand fighting somebody who has this skill. It's just it irks me. It's one of my pet peeves. Next up, and this is where things, get interesting in the few changes I made for S tier. I put acceleration here. At first, I had acceleration on like A tier, and I don't know if that was, I can't look at acceleration because I'm on Deku. I don't know if that's because I went ahead and I don't know. I gotta look back and see when the movement change happened. When everybody had better movement if you're a movement character. But if you're a movement character with acceleration and you can proc that consistently, you're just soaring across the map. Like, for an example, I use this on Rapid All Might, for an example. And when I'm playing that guy and I get this skill off, I'm just soaring. 2 betas and I'm across the map. Like, it is crazy. And I know you could already do that before, thanks to All Might's changes in the past. But if you have acceleration, he doesn't need this. He doesn't need acceleration, by the way. But I just have it on here just to further increase his speed. And it is just, goodness gracious, you soar. You literally fly. You just, like I said, 2 betas, and you're going from one end of the map to the other. Your opponent's not catching you. Unless they're playing like Monoma or something, and even then, that's questionable. So I had to move acceleration up to S tier because it has so much value now, and you'll probably see almost every person use it if they're using a character who has strong melee attacks. Next coming up, funny enough, is Young Awful One skill. This is a skill I originally thought was A tier as well. No, I gotta put it in S tier. Young Awful One's quirk factor release is insanely strong. I put it in A tier originally because of its cooldown. That cooldown is a non-factor. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. So the fact that you could break somebody's guard, so it's encouraging you to play aggressively. You can break somebody's guard and be rewarded for playing aggressively and getting your skills back 2 times faster. So your 12-second cooldown goes to a 6-second cooldown. Your 8-second cooldown goes to a 4-second cooldown. If you somehow have, like, let's say a 4-second cooldown skill, it goes to 2 down. Like, you know what I mean? You're breaking down all these skills, reload times, even your special action, and cutting it by half, which then would allow you to give better chase on your opponents who already have no shield and take them out the game. This skill is very, very strong. And I thought the cooldown was holding it back. Nah, the cooldown is keeping it in check. Because if you could constantly proc this thing, oh my gosh. So yeah, I had to put Young Awful One's special tuning skill in S tier. I just could not do that. Final skill for the season, Lady Nagant, the lovely Lady Nagant. Her skill I put in S tier because, although I'll admit I don't have a whole lot of experience with this skill because I just don't have the character or any data with the character. But I've seen it in action from a video or two, and it gives you infinite alphas if you down somebody with your alpha. And with how fast it reloads, you literally have infinite alphas with this thing. The only way I've seen this skill overpowered in theory, well, no, stop, I didn't mean to do that, stop. The only way I've seen this skill overpowered in theory is by using Rapid All Might's already super fast alphas with acceleration. Do y'all know how crazy that is? You have to double your speed of one of the characters who has the fastest alphas in the game to even have the chance of overpowering the reload speed of Lady Nagant's alpha skill. That skill is broken. If you put that skill on the characters like Strike Bakugo, Assault Deku, Strike Todoroki, Strike Denki, if you put it on any characters who can beam you, any beaming characters, shoot, you could probably put it on Assault All Might. If you put it on any beaming characters, a nightmare. Such a nightmare, I gotta say. So any beaming characters are going to be so absurdly strong with that skill. So with that in mind, I have to put her skill in S tier. And I would love to go ahead and get Lady Nagant so I can try out the skill myself and just see how it feels on characters like, the characters I just mentioned. And with that being said, that is the entire tuning tier list. I'll be honest with you, I like the changes that were made here. Let me go back to the main page so I can show off the tier list, and it's all in all its glory. I like the changes that I think that were made here. I think you could make some arguments for a couple of tuning skills here, but I feel generally good about the list here. I feel generally good about it. Now, the only thing I would like to go ahead and say, or that I would love to see in the future, I would love to see the game developers give more value to the skills that are in C or D tier, and even B tier. I think you can make an argument for the skills in B tier. Just give more value to those skills so they can be also up, you know, so they can also have valuability. You know what I mean? They can be useful. So we have a much more diverse, you know, tuning system meta. That's what I'll call it, a tuning system meta. We have a much more diverse tuning system meta. That would be great. That's what I would love to see. So, if you guys enjoyed this entire discussion video, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe button, and those notification bells to stay updated with everything on my channel. As you guys know, I love to hear y'all's thoughts in the comments. So, like when I said this was a discussion video, I meant exactly that. Tell me your thoughts in the comments. Was my tuning tier list crazy? Was it wrong? Do you disagree with some points? Please let me know. See, Deku don't disagree. Look at him. He didn't disagree. Not just playing. No, but no, tell me what you guys personally think in the comments, because I love chatting with you guys and hear what you guys personally think about the tuning system meta. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, and I could start working on the character tier list, or I could work on that to a video. I'll figure something out by then. You guys will see it. So I'm gonna go get out of here. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you later.